The blood on his lip was fresh. He could taste the iron in his mouth as he pushed himself up from the cold metal floor of the arena. His arms shook. His legs felt like water, but he stood anyway. Around him, the laughter of alien cadets filled the massive dome. There were hundreds of them sitting in the raised seats that circled the fighting ring. They came from dozens of different worlds. Some had scales. Some had 4 arms. Some had skin that looked like stone. All of them were looking at the small human boy in the center of the ring, and all of them were laughing. Wiped the blood from his mouth with the back of his hand. He was 20 years old, but he looked younger. Humans always looked younger to the other species. They also looked weaker, smaller, less dangerous. That was the problem. The Galactic Military Academy was supposed to be a place of honor. Young warriors from across the galaxy came here to train. They learned to fight. They learned to lead. They earned respect through combat, but this place had become a prison. He was the only human in the junior combat division. When he first arrived 3 months ago, he thought he could prove himself. He thought that if he trained hard enough, fought well enough, the other cadets would accept him. He was wrong. Commander watched from the observation deck above the arena. He was one of the reptilian warriors who ruled 100 worlds. He stood 7 feet tall, with green scales that shone like armor and yellow eyes that missed nothing. His arms were crossed over his massive chest, and his face showed no emotion. He did nothing to stop what was happening below. By galactic law, training matches were permitted, and kept volunteering for them. The other cadets thought he was stupid. They thought he kept coming back because he was too foolish to understand that he could never win. But they were wrong, had a reason. He was waiting for something, someone. 3 days ago he had sent a message to Earth, a single word, come. He knew she would receive it. He knew she would understand. And he knew with absolute certainty that she would come. Until then, he just had to survive. Stepped forward from the crowd of cadets. He was Commander's nephew, and he was the undefeated champion of the junior arena. He was young for only 30 years old, but he was already larger than most. His scales were darker than the others, almost black, and his claws were longer. He moved with the confidence of someone who had never lost a fight. "Look at the little human," said loudly, making sure everyone could hear. "He wants more. I think he likes the taste of the floor." The crowd laughed again. Some of them stomped their feet. Some clapped their multiple hands. The sound echoed through the dome like thunder. Said nothing, he just raised his fists. Tilted his head, amused. "You know, I almost feel sorry for you. When the Galactic Council first discovered your species, they classified you as Tier 7. Do you know what that means?" Everyone knew. The tier system ranks species by their threat level, their combat ability, their usefulness to the galaxy. Tier 1 was the highest, reserved for species that could conquer worlds alone. Tier 10 was the lowest, for species that were barely intelligent. Humans were Tier 7, minimal threat, suitable for administrative roles, not warriors, not fighters, just clerks. "It means," continued, "that your entire species is considered less dangerous than a child. It means that the only reason you were allowed into this academy at all is because some politician on your little planet begged for a token representative." He spread his arms wide. "And they sent you, the best humanity had to offer." He laughed, and the crowd laughed with him. Still said nothing. He kept his fists raised. His laughter faded into a cold smile. "I'm going to enjoy this." He moved fast. For a creature his size, his speed was shocking. One moment he was standing 10 feet away. The next, his clawed hand was swinging towards face. Tried to dodge. He was quick for a human. He had trained his whole life, but was faster. The blow caught him on the shoulder, spinning him around. Before he could recover, a knee slammed into his stomach. Then an elbow crashed into his back. He hit the ground hard. The air left his lungs. Pain exploded through his body. The crowd cheered. lay on the cold floor, gasping for breath, his vision blurred. He could feel new bruises forming over old ones. His ribs ached, his head pounded. But he could also feel something else, something that made him smile despite the pain. A small vibration in his pocket, his communicator, a single pulse that meant a message had been received, a single pulse that meant his message to Earth had been answered. She was coming. Stood over him, looking down with disgust. "Stay down, human. You embarrass yourself." Coughed and pushed himself up to his hands and knees. "No. No," eyes narrowed, "you want more. I can do this all day." It was something their father used to say, a joke from old Earth movies, and his sister used to laugh about it when they were children. Now it meant something different. It meant, "I will not break. I will not give up. I will hold on until you get here." Grabbed by the collar and lifted him off the ground. He held him at eye level, clawed fingers digging into the fabric of his training uniform. "You humans are all the same. Too stupid to know when you've lost. Too weak to do anything about it." He threw across the ring. The human hit the ground and rolled, finally stopping at the edge of the arena barrier. Commander watched from above. His expression was still unreadable, but there was something in his eyes, something that might have been curiosity. The human boy should have given up long ago. Any sane creature would have. But day after day he kept coming back. He kept standing up. He kept fighting. It was foolish, it was pointless, it was interesting. Down in the arena, walked towards crumpled form. He raised his clawed hand high, ready to deliver another blow. Behind him, at the far end of the dome, the arena doors began to slide open. No one noticed. All eyes were on the beaten human on the ground. All ears were filled with the sound of laughter and cheering. No one saw the small figure that stepped through the doorway. No one except. Through swollen eyes, through the haze of pain, he saw her. She wore simple clothes, a dark jacket, worn boots, a bag over her shoulder. She looked like nothing special. She looked like just another human. But knew better. He knew what she really was. And despite everything, despite the pain and the blood and the humiliation, he smiled. His sister had arrived. His hand came down toward his face but didn't care anymore. The waiting was over. The message had been received. The answer had come. The galaxy was about to learn what humans could really do. Walked into the arena like she was walking into a coffee shop. Her steps were calm. Her face showed nothing. She did not look around at the hundreds of aliens watching the fight. She did not seem impressed by the massive dome or the advanced technology or the creatures from 100 different worlds. She just walked. Her bag hung from her shoulder. It was old and worn, the kind of bag a student might carry to school. Her jacket was simple black fabric, nothing special. Her boots had seen better days. She looked like a tourist who had wandered into the wrong building. Several alien cadets in the lower seats glanced her way. A with 4 arms looked at her and made a clicking sound with his mandibles. It was the version of a laugh. A group of cadets saw her and turned back to watch the fight. She was not worth their attention. Just another human. Just another weak, soft creature from a Tier 7 world. But up in the observation deck, one person did not look away. Pressed her face closer to the glass. She was human-like in. She worked for Earth's intelligence service, stationed at the academy to watch over the human cadets. It was a boring job most of the time. Humans rarely caused trouble. They were too busy trying to survive. But recognized the girl who had just walked in. She recognized that calm face, that steady walk, that complete absence of fear. Her fingers flew across her data pad, pulling up files. Classified files. Files that most people were not supposed to see. The girl's name was, age 19, born in Seoul, Earth. No official military training, no academy registration, no legal reason to be in this building. But that was not what made blood run cold. It was the other information, the unofficial information. the records that Earth's government had tried very hard to hide. 17 confirmed victories in underground fighting rings, started competing at age 15, never lost, never even came close to losing. Suspected connections to the Soul Combat Syndicate, one of Earth's most dangerous underground fighting organizations. Expelled from 3 military preparatory schools. The reason was always the same: excessive force. At the bottom of the file there was a red warning, the kind of warning that intelligence officers took very seriously. It said, "Do not engage in close quarters." Looked back at the arena floor. The girl was still walking, calm, slow, in no hurry at all. Down in the ring was about to hit again. His clawed hand was raised high. His muscles were tensed. He was enjoying himself. He always enjoyed hurting the human. Stopped walking. She was still 30 feet from the ring, still far from the fight, but something had changed. The cadets nearest to her felt it first, a strange feeling in the air, like the moment before a storm, like the silence before an explosion. Looked at her brother on the ground. She looked at the blood on his face. She looked at the bruises on his arms. She looked at the way he was struggling to breathe. Then she looked at. Her expression did not change. Her face stayed calm, but her eyes became something different, something cold, something that made the cadet nearby stop laughing. Let her bag slide from her shoulder. It hit the ground with a soft thump. "Hey," she called out. Her voice was not loud. She did not shout, but somehow the word carried across the arena. Somehow it cut through the noise of the crowd. Somehow everyone heard it. Paused, his hand stopped in mid-swing. He turned to look at the source of the interruption. He saw a small human girl, shorter than, thinner than, no armor, no weapons, no uniform, nothing that suggested she was any kind of threat. "That's my brother," said. For a moment the arena was silent, then laughed. It was a harsh sound like rocks grinding together. The crowd joined in, relieved that the interruption was nothing serious. "Another human," said. He let go of, letting him fall back to the ground. "What is this, a family reunion?" He spread his arms wide. "Did your species send a rescue party of one?" Did not answer right away. She looked at again. He was trying to push himself up, trying to stand. Even now, even after everything, he would not stay down. That was her brother, stubborn, proud, too brave for his own good. Just like her. She looked back at, something like that. Stepped toward the edge of the ring. He was still amused. This was entertainment. A tiny human girl had come to save her beaten brother. It was almost cute. "Do you know where you are, little girl?" he asked. "This is the Galactic Military Academy. This is where real warriors train. This is not a place for humans," he gestured at. "Your brother learned that lesson the hard way. Would you like me to teach you too?" Stepped forward, one step, then another. She was entering the ring now, walking past the boundary markers, walking toward. The crowd grew quieter. This was unusual. Humans did not approach warriors. Humans did not walk toward danger. Humans ran away. That was what everyone knew about humans. They were cowards, survivors, not fighters. But this girl was walking forward. Up in the observation deck, Commander leaned forward slightly. His yellow eyes focused on the human girl. Something about her was different. Something about the way she moved, the way she carried her weight, the way her eyes never left her target. He had seen that look before, not in humans, in predators. Gripped her data pad so hard her knuckles turned white. She wanted to do something, call security, sound an alarm, but she knew it was too late. Whatever was about to happen was going to happen and nothing could stop it. Down in the ring had stopped laughing. The girl was close now, 10 feet away, then 8, then 5. She was small, so small. Her head barely reached his chest. Her arms were thin, her body was soft. No scales, no claws, no natural weapons of any kind. He could break her with one hand. "Last chance, little human," he said. "Turn around, Walk away. Go back to your weak little planet and forget this place exists. Stopped, she was within arm's reach now. She had to look up to meet his eyes. You hurt my brother, she said quietly. You made him bleed. You made him crawl on the floor while everyone laughed. Yes, said smiling, I did, and I enjoyed every moment. Nodded slowly, like she was accepting something, like she was making a decision. Then we have a problem, she said. Smile widened. Oh, and what are you going to do about it? Did not answer with words. She just rolled her shoulders once. A small movement, barely noticeable, like she was getting comfortable, like she was preparing for something. On the ground nearby saw it. He knew what it meant. He had seen her do it 1,000 times before in the training rooms back home, in the underground rings where she made her name, in every fight she had ever won. It meant she was ready. Raised his hand, a casual motion, not even a real attack, just a backhand to swat away this annoying insect, a move that had broken bones of creatures twice her size. His arm moved fast, faster than any human could react. Or so he thought. The moment his hand began to swing, moved. And the galaxy changed forever. His hand never touched her. One moment his clawed backhand was swinging toward her face. The next moment was not there anymore. She had moved, not backward, not to the side, forward, into his reach, closer than anyone should ever get to a warrior. Her body flowed like water, no wasted motion, no hesitation. Her left hand caught his wrist and redirected his swing. Her right elbow drove upward into the soft spot beneath his jaw, the spot where the scales were thinner, the spot where the nerves connected to the brain. The sound was like a hammer hitting stone. His head snapped back, his eyes went wide, his legs wobbled. For the first time in his life, he felt something he had never felt before. He felt pain. The arena went silent, completely silent. Hundreds of aliens stopped breathing, stopped moving, stopped thinking. They just stared at what they were seeing. A human, a tiny human girl, had just hurt the undefeated champion of the junior arena. It was impossible. It was unthinkable. It was happening right in front of their eyes. Stumbled backward. His hand went to his jaw. His yellow eyes were confused, angry, afraid. What? He started to say. Did not let him finish. She moved again, low and fast. Her leg swept behind his knee, hitting the joint where it bent the wrong way. Even knees had weaknesses. Even warriors could fall. Dropped, his knee hit the ground hard. He was on one leg now, off balance, vulnerable. But he was still a warrior. He had trained his whole life. His instincts kicked in. His other arm swung toward, claws extended, aiming for her throat. She caught it. Not with strength. She was not stronger than him. No human was stronger than but strength was not everything. She caught his arm by the wrist, stepped to the side, and twisted. She used his own momentum against him. She let his weight work for her instead of against her. The world spun around. The ceiling became the floor. The floor became the ceiling. And then, with a crash that shook the arena, he was on his back. The ground cracked beneath him. For a long moment, nothing moved. Lay on the floor, staring at the lights above. His body would not obey him. His brain could not understand what had happened. He had been standing. He had been attacking. And now he was looking at the ceiling. 11 seconds. The whole fight had lasted 11 seconds. Stood over him, she was not breathing hard, she was not sweating. She looked exactly the same as when she had walked into the arena. Calm, quiet, empty. Like this was nothing. Like beating the undefeated champion was just another day. The silence broke. It broke with a sound that started low and grew loud. The sound of hundreds of alien voices all talking at once, shouting, screaming, arguing. Some could not believe what they had seen. Some thought it was a trick. Some were already on their feet demanding explanations. In the observation deck, Commander stood up slowly. His yellow eyes were fixed on the human girl. His expression had changed. It was no longer unreadable. It was interested. Very interested. His legs gave out. She sat down hard in her chair, her data pad falling from her fingers. The red warning on file flashed in her mind. Do not engage in close quarters. Now she understood. Now she knew why. Down in the arena, the chaos was just beginning. Pushed through the crowd of cadets. He was one of the four-armed species known for their speed. His exoskeleton was dark brown, almost black, and his compound eyes reflected the arena lights like mirrors. His mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of anger. He had trained with, he had fought beside, he had never seen anyone beat. You cheated, he hissed at. You must have cheated. No human can fight like that. Looked at him, just looked. She did not argue, she did not explain, she did not seem afraid. Charged. His four arms moved in a blur. Left high, right low, two from the middle. A combination that no creature with only two arms could block, a combination that had never failed. Did not try to block. She stepped forward, into the attack, between the arms, so close that strikes passed on either side of her, hitting nothing but air. Her fist drove into his chest. Once, twice, 3 times. Each strike hit the same spot where the plates of his exoskeleton met, where the shell was weakest. Staggered, he swung again, all 4 arms at once, trying to crush her in a deadly embrace. She was already gone. She had ducked low, rolled under his grab, and come up behind him. Her elbow cracked against the back of his head, where his brain case connected to his neck. They fell face first onto the arena floor. His 4 arms twitched once, then went still. 2 down, 11 seconds for the first, 7 seconds for the second. The crowd was going crazy now. Cadets were shouting in languages that had no translation. Some were calling for security. Some were calling for more fighters. Some were just screaming. 2 cadets jumped into the ring. They were friends of. They had watched him beat day after day. They had laughed at the weak human. Now their friend was on the ground and they wanted revenge. They attacked together. They had trained together for years. They knew how to coordinate. One high, one low. One left, one right. A perfect team. Against a human, it should have been over in seconds. Moved between them like smoke. She did not fight them directly. She did not try to match their strength. Instead, she redirected. She guided. She made them fight each other. When the first swung his clawed hand, she stepped aside and let the blow continue toward his partner. The second had to dodge his friend's attack, leaving him off balance. His foot caught him in the back of the knee. He fell forward, crashing into the first. They went down in a tangle of scales and claws. Before they could recover was on them. A knee to one's chest, an elbow to the other's temple, quick, precise, efficient. 4 down, total time, less than a minute. Stood in the center of the ring. Around her, 4 alien warriors lay on the ground. The undefeated champion, the fastest in his class. 2 trained soldiers, all beaten, all down, all wondering what had happened. She looked up at the crowd. Hundreds of eyes stared back at her. Hundreds of faces showed shock and anger and fear. "Anyone else?" she asked. Her voice was still calm, still quiet, like she was asking if anyone wanted more tea. For a moment, no one moved. Then, one by one, more cadets began to step forward. They jumped down from the seats. They climbed over the barriers. They entered the ring. 6 of them, then 8, then 12. Different species, different sizes, different fighting styles, but they all had one thing in common. They all wanted to prove that what they had just seen was a mistake. They all wanted to show that humans were still weak, still inferior, still Tier 7. Looked at them, she counted them silently. 12 angry aliens all ready to attack. On the ground nearby, watched with wide eyes. He had known his sister was good. He had seen her fight before, but this was something else. This was something he had never seen. This was not just fighting, this was art. He called out weakly, You don't have to. Stay down, she said without looking at him. Rest, I will handle this. She looked back at the 12 aliens surrounding her. They were spreading out, trying to attack from all sides, trying to use their numbers. Cracked her neck once, left, then right. All at once then, she said. And then she moved. What happened next would be studied in military academies across the galaxy for the next 100 years. Instructors would slow down the recordings. They would analyze every movement. They would try to understand how one small human defeated 12 trained alien warriors in less than 3 minutes. Most of them would fail to understand, because what did was not something that could be learned from watching. It was something that came from a lifetime of fighting, a lifetime of being smaller, weaker, slower, and finding ways to win anyway. The first attacker was a species with rocky skin and fists like hammers. He charged straight at, confident that his natural armor would protect him from her strikes. He was twice her size, 3 times her weight. His punch could break steel. Did not try to block or dodge. She stepped toward him under his swing and placed her palm against his chest. Just her palm, a gentle touch. Then she pushed. This momentum was already carrying him forward. His push changed his direction just slightly, just enough. His foot missed the ground where he expected it to be. He stumbled, he fell, and as he fell, his elbow came down on the back of his neck. The rocky alien hit the floor and did not get up. 2 more attacked from the sides, a on her left, a on her right. They swung at the same moment, trying to catch her between them. Dropped. She fell straight down onto her hands and knees. Thus claws passed through the air where her head had been. Thus 4 arms grabbed nothing but empty space. And then, before either could react, his legs swept in a wide circle. She caught both of their ankles, both of them fell, and before they could hit the ground she was already up. Her knee cracked into this face. Her fist drove into this throat. 5 down, less than 30 seconds. The other 9 attackers stopped. They had been rushing in from all sides, but now they hesitated. They had seen enough. They knew this was not a normal fight. But they were warriors. They had pride. They could not back down now, not in front of the whole academy, not against a human. They changed their approach. Instead of rushing in blindly, they began to coordinate. They spread out in a circle. They would attack together, all 9 at once. Even the best fighter could not handle 9 enemies at the same time. Watch them move. Her eyes tracked each one. She saw their positions. She saw their stances. She saw which ones were fast and which ones were strong. She saw which ones were scared and which ones were angry. In her mind, the fight was already over. She just had to let her body follow the plan. They attacked. 9 aliens from 9 different directions. Claws and fists and blades all coming at her at once. It should have been impossible to survive. It should have been the end. Exploded into motion. She did not try to fight all 9 at once. That was impossible. Instead, she moved. She flowed. She made sure that at any given moment, only 1 or 2 enemies could reach her. She used the attackers against each other. She put them in each other's way. The first to reach her threw a punch. She caught his wrist, spun, and threw him into the path of the behind her. They crashed together and fell. A large alien with blue skin swung a training blade at her head. She ducked, stepped inside his guard, and drove her fingers into the pressure point on his arm. His grip failed. The blade fell. She caught it and used the handle to strike his temple. He dropped. 2 more attacked together, trying to grab her from both sides. She jumped. Not high, just enough to plant her feet on their reaching arms. She pushed off, flipping over their heads, and landed behind them. Before they could turn, she had kicked the back of both their knees. They fell to the ground. In the observation deck, Commander watched without blinking. His yellow eyes tracked every movement. His warrior's mind analyzed every technique. He had lived for 200 years. He had fought in 3 wars. He had trained thousands of soldiers. and he had never seen anything like this. The human girl was not stronger than her enemies. She was not faster. She did not have better weapons or armor. But she was winning. She was winning because she was smarter, because she read her enemies like books, because she knew exactly where to strike and when to move and how to turn their strengths into weaknesses. This was not the fighting style of a Tier 7 species. This was the fighting style of apex predators. Down in the arena the last three attackers faced, they were the most skilled of the group. A veteran, a combat specialist, a champion. They had held back watching, learning. Now they moved together. They came in fast, claws first. The circled around, looking for an opening. The hung back, waiting for the right moment to use his crushing strength. Met the head-on. She took his strike on her forearm, letting the claws cut shallow lines in her skin. It was the first time anyone had touched her in the entire fight. The smiled, thinking he had finally landed a hit. Then he realized his arm was trapped. Had grabbed him at the moment of contact. She twisted, using his body as a shield against this attack. The four-armed alien could not strike without hitting his ally. He hesitated for just a moment. That moment was enough. Released the, spinning him into the. As they tangled together, she was already moving toward the. The rocky alien raised his fists, ready for her attack. She did not attack his body. She attacked his balance. A quick strike to the side of his knee made him shift his weight. Another strike to his hip made him turn. A third strike, almost gentle, pushed him backward. The fell onto the tangled pile of the end. Step back, she waited. The three aliens struggled to get up. They pushed and pulled at each other, trying to untangle themselves. Finally, the managed to stand. He turned to face, his eyes burning with hatred. She was right there. Her palm struck his chest. Her other hand grabbed the back of his head. She pulled down while pushing up. His face met her rising knee. The fell. The was next. He managed to get his forearms up in defense. It did not matter. Moved between his guards, striking the joints where his arms connected to his body. One arm went limp, then another, then a third. By the time the fourth arm fell, there was on the ground. There was last. He was on his feet now, backing away. He did not want to fight anymore. He could see what was coming. Walked toward him slowly. There was no hurry. The fight was already over. He just did not know it yet. Please, the said. His voice was shaking. I surrender, I give up. Stopped, she looked at him for a long moment. Then she nodded. Go, she said. The ran. He climbed over the arena barrier and disappeared into the crowd. Stood in the center of the ring. Around her, 17 alien cadets lay on the ground. Some were unconscious. Some were groaning in pain. Some were just lying still, staring at nothing, trying to understand what had happened to them. For the first time since the fight began, showed a sign of effort. A single drop of sweat rolled down her forehead. She wiped it away with the back of her hand. Then she walked to where was lying and held out her hand. Get up, she said. Her voice was soft now, gentle, the voice of a sister, not a fighter. We are leaving. Took her hand. She pulled him to his feet. He leaned against her, barely able to stand. You came, he whispered. Of course I came, she said. You are my brother. Above them, the arena was chaos. Cadets were shouting. Instructors were rushing around. Medical teams were entering the ring to help the fallen fighters. But through all the noise and confusion, one voice cut through clearly. Wait. Commander had descended from the observation deck. He stood at the edge of the ring, his yellow eyes fixed on. The arena fell silent once more. Commander stepped into the ring. His heavy footsteps echoed through the silent arena. Every alien in the dome watched him. Every eye followed his movement. He was the highest-ranking officer in the academy. He was a legend among the people. He had fought in wars that destroyed whole planets. He had killed enemies that most species could not even imagine. And now he was walking toward a small human girl. Did not back away. She did not show fear. She just watched him approach, her arm still supporting. Stopped 3 feet away from her. Up close, the difference in their sizes was almost funny. He was 7 feet tall. She was barely 5.5. His shoulders were wider than her whole body. His claws were longer than her fingers. He could kill her with one hand. Everyone knew it, even knew it. But she did not move. "You are not a registered cadet," said. His voice was deep, like rocks grinding together. "No," replied, "I am not. You entered a restricted military facility without permission." "Yes." "You assaulted 17 members of this academy." Looked at the bodies scattered around the ring. 17 aliens. 17 warriors from species that humans were supposed to fear, all of them beaten by one girl. "They were assaulting my brother," she said simply. Was silent for a moment. His yellow eyes studied her face. In culture, family was sacred. Blood was blood. To protect your family was the highest duty. But this was different. This was not just protection. This was destruction. "Your kind," said slowly, "were classified as Tier 7 when we first discovered your planet. Do you know why?" "Because we have no natural weapons," said. "No claws, no scales, no venom, no armor. We are soft and small and weak." "Correct." Looked at the fallen cadets around them. That classification was based on biology, on physical capability, on what we could see and measure. He paused. It did not account for this. He gestured at the carnage around them. "In 300 years of running this academy," he continued, "I have never seen a single fighter defeat 17 opponents alone. Not any species. Until today." Said nothing, she just waited. Up in the observation deck, was on her feet again. She had been speaking frantically into her communicator, trying to contact Earth's embassy. But now she stopped. She watched what was happening below with growing amazement. Commander was not attacking. He was not calling for security. He was talking. In society, combat was the highest form of communication. Warriors did not explain themselves with words. They explained themselves with actions, and had just given the most powerful explanation possible. "Our laws are clear," said. "Those who prove themselves in the arena earn the right to stand among us. Those who defeat our warriors deserve respect." He paused. "You have defeated 17 of our warriors. You have earned more than respect." The aliens in the audience began to murmur. Some were angry, some were confused, some were starting to understand what was happening. Commander raised his voice so all could hear. "By the combat laws of this academy, any who prove their worth in the arena may claim a place among us, may train among us, may fight among us." He looked at, "You have proven your worth. Stay and you will be trained as a warrior of the academy. Your brother will no longer be touched. No one will dare." The offer hung in the air. It was more than generous. It was unprecedented. A human being offered full warrior status at the Galactic Military Academy. It had never happened before. Looked at, her brother was barely standing. His face was covered in bruises. His body was covered in cuts. He had suffered for weeks at this place. He had been humiliated, beaten, laughed at. And he was shaking his head. "Do not do this for me," he whispered. "You do not belong here. You do not owe them anything. Let us just go home." Smiled at him. It was a small smile, barely visible. The first real emotion she had shown since entering the arena. "I'm not doing this for you," she said quietly. She turned back to Commander. The entire arena was watching. Hundreds of aliens waited for her answer. The future of humanity's reputation hung on her words. "I am not staying for training," said. Her voice carried across the silent dome. "I am not staying to earn a place among you." His eyes narrowed. "Then why would you stay?" Looked around the arena. She looked at the faces of the aliens watching her. Some were angry, some were afraid, some were curious. All of them had believed just an hour ago that humans were weak, that humans were inferior, that humans were not worth their attention. "I am staying," said, "to make sure every species in this academy remembers what humans are capable of." The words fell like stones into still water. They spread through the crowd. They reached every ear. They changed every mind. This was not a girl asking for acceptance. This was not a human begging for respect. This was a warning, a promise, a declaration. Commander stared at her for a long moment. Then, slowly, he smiled. It was not a friendly smile. It was the smile of a predator recognizing another predator. "Bold words," he said, "but words are easy. Can you back them up?" "I just did," replied. She nodded toward the 17 fallen cadets. "Would you like me to do it again?" The smile faded from his face. He looked at her with new eyes, with respect, with caution. "Very well," he said. "You may stay, but know this, human, the Academy does not give mercy. If you stay, you will be challenged, every day, every hour, by warriors who want to prove that today was a mistake." "Good," said, "I look forward to it." Studied her for another moment. Then he turned and walked away. His heavy footsteps echoed through the arena once more. As he passed the fallen form of his nephew, he did not even look down. In culture, those who lost in combat were not worthy of attention, would have to earn his uncle's respect again, if he could. Finally managed to push through the crowd and reach the arena floor. She ran too, and her face pale with shock. "Do you have any idea what you have just done?" she asked. "The political implications alone. Earth's government will have to respond. The Galactic Council will demand explanations." "Let them," said. She was helping walk toward the arena exit. "I did not come here for politics. I came here for my brother." "But—" "My brother was being beaten every day," said. Her voice was calm but hard. "My brother was being humiliated in front of hundreds of aliens. My brother was calling for help. I answered." She looked at directly. "If the galaxy has a problem with that, they can take it up with me. In the arena." Opened her mouth to argue, then closed it. What could she say? The girl was right, and more importantly, the girl had won. The three humans walked toward the arena exit. Behind them, medical teams were helping the fallen cadets. Instructors were arguing about what had happened. Cadets were talking in dozens of different languages, trying to make sense of what they had seen. But one thing was clear to everyone. Everything had changed. Humans were not Tier 7 anymore. Not really. The classification might still be on the official records. The paperwork might still say minimal threat. But everyone in that arena knew the truth now. They had seen it with their own eyes. A small human girl had walked into the Galactic Military Academy and defeated 17 trained alien warriors without breaking a sweat. She had done it calmly, professionally, like it was nothing special. And then she had promised to do it again. As and disappeared through the arena doors, the aliens left behind began to understand something important. Humans were not weak, they were just getting started.